ne zaman sarhoş oldun da.
While after 7 months of relentless attacks and tens of thousands of casualties, Russian forces reclaimed Sudzha in the Kursk region. Meanwhile, Ukraine is now advancing in the Russian Belgorod region. Russian military blogger Romanov confirms that Ukraine controls Demidovka in Belgorod region. The settlement is under Ukrainian control. Russian forces withdrew from the area, allowing the enemy to occupy it. Additionally, the moment of road demining by the enemy and the removal of Dragon's Teeth was missed. Russian forces are now storming the settlement. Russian Z channels keep confirming the capture of Demidivka in Belgorod Oblast by Ukrainian forces, and now whining that their troops just up and left, letting Ukrainian fighters advance.
Demidovka, Belgorod region, but currently occupied by the enemy. Here it is actually. Right now, these are the shots I am filming with my own hand. You see? There. What happened was, those who were holding it just took it and surrendered it. Just took it and left it. And after that, the enemy occupied it. Well, at the moment when the enemy cleared the mines, everything was well mined. Accordingly, the enemy cleared the section and made a passage for itself and pulled back Dragon's Teeth with an MRAP accordingly. And after that, passage became possible. The forces holding the area messed up at that moment, and now the enemy is here.
The somber governor of Russia's Belgorod region, Vyacheslav Gladkov, announced that nearly all residents of the border Krasnoyaruzhsky district have been evacuated due to a limited special operation by Ukraine's defense forces, which began on March 18th. This accounts for approximately 14,000 good Russians.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья. Обстановка в Красноярском районе продолжает оставаться сложной. Военные занимаются выполнением поставленных боевых задач. Задача органов государственной муниципальной власти – спасение жизни людей. Большая часть, практически всех вывезли. К сожалению, есть случаи, когда люди по полям возвращаются в свои дома. Тоже понимаем их, потому что нужно покормить кур, кроликов, живность, которую выращивали, на которую тратили деньги, которые, конечно же, ждут или доход, или использование питания своих близких. Конечно, жалко все терять, но, дорогие друзья, на кону. То есть нужно четко понимать, что на кону, на кон мы ставим жизнь людей, да, или жизнь десяток кур.
In the Kreminna and Serebryansk forestry areas, FPV drones from the Phoenix UAV regiment destroyed a tank, Tiger armored vehicle, mortar, artillery, and a fuel supply depot. As of October 2024, the Serebryansky forest near Kreminna in Luhansk Oblast remains a focal point of intense combat between Ukrainian and Russian forces. Ukrainian units, including the Azov Brigade, have conducted operations to reclaim territory, successfully pushing Russian forces from certain positions within the forest. Russia began forming mobile air defense units to counter Ukrainian drone strikes, copying Ukrainian mobile groups that have been active in the armed forces of Ukraine since nearly the start of the war. Despite Russia's larger size and being considered the favorite, Ukraine is leading in war innovations. From advanced drone warfare to AI-driven battlefield intelligence, Ukraine has adapted faster, using Western tech and homegrown ingenuity. Precision strikes, electronic warfare, and decentralized command structures give Ukraine an edge. While Russia relies on mass mobilization, Ukraine's agility and innovation continue to reshape modern warfare, proving that strategy and technology can outmatch sheer numbers. To cover up the poisoning of Sudzha's pipe cleaners, Russia is hyping their heroism with a replica of the pipe they heroically used to enter Sudzha. The 16-meter Urengoy-Pomary-Uzhgorod pipeline piece now stands as a symbol of their unmatched feat. A ceasefire on aerial infrastructure is in effect right after Trump and Putin's call, Waltz claims.
And the progression will be, we have this ceasefire on aerial infrastructure. That went in place immediately after President Trump's call with President Putin this week.
Protests in Turkey continue. Reportedly, they are now happening all over the country, not just Istanbul. Hundreds of thousands of protesters filled Istanbul's streets on Sunday for a fifth night of demonstrations against the arrest of the Turkish president's main rival. Ekrem İmamoğlu, the mayor of Istanbul, was detained on Wednesday and formally arrested and jailed pending trial over corruption charges earlier on Sunday. Police used pepper spray and fired rubber bullets into the crowd that gathered outside Istanbul's City Hall. Reporting from Istanbul on Sunday evening, Sky News special correspondent Alex Crawford described the protests as relatively peaceful, but said they were the biggest protests Turkey has seen in more than a decade. The huge demonstrations have continued, despite a ban on gatherings in Istanbul imposed this week, but many protesters hid their faces with masks. Most protesters did not want to speak on camera as they were scared of being recognized, Crawford said, but they took to the streets because they feel their democracy is being eroded. She said questions remained over how long authorities would allow these protests to continue, and whether they will escalate into a real crisis for President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The protests intensified after Mr. İmamoğlu was charged on Sunday with running a criminal organization, accepting bribes, extortion, illegally recording personal data, and bid rigging. A request to detain Mr. İmamoğlu on terror-related charges was denied. Following the ruling, he was transferred to Silivri prison, west of Istanbul. Mr. İmamoğlu has labeled all of the claims unimaginable accusations and slanders. Many view his detention as a political move to remove him from the 2028 presidential race, deepening concerns over the country's democracy and the rule of law. The Turkish government denies Mr. İmamoğlu's arrest was politically motivated and says the courts are independent. Mr. Erdogan has served as Turkey's president since his Justice and Development Party came to power in 2003. French defense company Dassault Aviation is prepared to offer its Rafale fighter jets to countries that have suspended their consideration of F-35A purchases, particularly Portugal and Canada. This was stated by Dassault Aviation CEO Éric Trappier in an interview with Le Journal du Dimanche. He emphasized that the company is closely monitoring the situation and is ready to provide its aircraft to countries that have opted against purchasing the F-35. Trappier mentioned that although Portugal has not yet approached France regarding a possible purchase of Rafale fighters, the company anticipates that such a request may be made in the coming weeks or months.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.